All right, let's dive into a completely different way of thinking about influence. And get this, it has almost nothing to do with the words you choose. Actually, it all starts with a feeling that I bet every single one of us knows. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're in a meeting, you've got all your points lined up, everything is perfectly logical, but you can just see people's eyes glazing over. It feels like your words are hitting a brick wall. You keep explaining, you keep trying to persuade, but nothing's getting through. Well, what if the problem isn't what you're saying at all?
What if the real secret to being influential isn't in what's said, but in what's felt? That's what we're going to unpack today. We're looking at that invisible force, that hidden current that is shaping every single one of your conversations, whether you know it or not.
I mean, we all fall for this, right? We spend hours crafting the perfect email. We rehearse our arguments in the shower. We try to sound super smart, thinking that our words are our sharpest tools. But this is where we get it all wrong. It's a huge misunderstanding of where real, genuine power comes from.
So if it's not our words, then what in the world is it? Well, the answer is something we can call conversational energy. And this is the voice that people actually hear.
This right here is the absolute heart of the matter. It's not the sound waves, it's the feeling. It's that vibe of calm confidence, or that undercurrent of anxious neediness that you're broadcasting without saying a thing. You know this is true. You can always tell when someone's nervous, even if they're saying all the right, confident words. That's their energy just shouting over their voice.
Here's the best way I've ever heard this explained. Think of your words as the envelope. They're just the container, right? They're the packaging. But your energy is the actual letter inside. That is the real message that gets delivered and read. People might glance at the envelope, but they feel the letter.
And this just nails it. You can say, I am so confident 100 times, but if your energy is practically screaming, I feel so insecure right now, guess what people are going to respond to? The insecurity, every single time. So, how do we get a handle on this energy? Well, funny enough, it starts not by talking, but by listening.
We're usually taught that listening is, a passive thing. It's what you do while you're impatiently waiting for your turn to talk. But what if I told you it's actually one of the most powerful, active forces you could possibly wield in a conversation?
See, when you listen with this calm, centered energy, you're not just being quiet. You are actively creating an invisible field of safety around you. You're not sitting there planning your epic comeback or judging what they're saying. You're just present. And that non-threatening energy makes people feel safe, it makes them feel heard, and it makes them way more likely to want to work with you.
Okay, so here's a little challenge for you. In your very next conversation today, just try this. Listen. And I mean really listen. Don't think about what you're going to say next. Just nod, breathe, and be there with them. You will be absolutely amazed at how this tiny shift in your energy pulls people in instead of pushing them away. Okay, so we've covered energetic listening, but now, what happens when it is our turn to speak? Well, this is where we learn how to use silence as a superpower. Seriously, think about it for a sec. Somebody asks you something, what's that knee-jerk reaction? For most of us, it's to jump right in with an answer. We hate that dead air, don't we? We want to prove we're smart, we're quick, we're on top of it. But that rush, that haste, is almost always coming from a tiny little place of fear. So here's the new instinct I want you to practice. Before you answer any question from now on, just pause for 1-2 seconds. I know it's going to feel like forever at first, but in that tiny, quiet space, something incredibly powerful starts to happen. That 2-second pause, it's a gap. It's a moment where you let your calm, confident energy walk into the room before your words do. It sends a message that you aren't just reacting out of fear. You are responding from a place of centered, deliberate strength. A quick reply often sends out this little wave of anxiety, right? This subtle need to prove yourself. But the paused reply, the one that comes from a place of stillness, that sends out a wave of pure confidence. It tells everyone in the room that you're in control and that what you're about to say has weight.
Now, this all sounds pretty cool in theory, but how do we actually make this a real habit? Because this isn't just some clever communication trick, it's a daily practice, like a workout for your presence. So here are a few simple exercises you can start doing, like today. So first, try to have one conversation where your only goal is to not control the outcome. Just let it be. And instead of jumping in with words, use nonverbal cues like a confident nod or a smile to send your energy. Of course, practice that 2-second pause we just talked about. And finally, before you walk into a big conversation, just say this to yourself: I am the energy.
It's a simple reminder that you are the source, not just the speaker.
And that right there, that's the big takeaway. This is not about learning how to manipulate people or win every argument. It's about shifting your entire focus inward. Because when you connect with your own calm, centered energy, all that external stuff, the influence, the cooperation, the connection, it just kind of starts to take care of itself.
So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you open your mouth to speak, don't just think about what you're going to say. Ask yourself, who are you going to be? Are you going to be the anxious words rushing to fill a silence? Or are you going to be the powerful, calm energy that truly, deeply connects?